Okay, for all you mechanics out there, you know what a pain it is to scrape and clean gaskets from both mating surfaces when you have to replace gaskets, like some of the styles of head gaskets, base gaskets, side cover gaskets. You know, you go to take a side cover off to replace the clutch, or you work on your stator or something like that, and you spend more time scraping the gasket than you do that's the longest part of the job. All right, here's the fix. This was a bulletin from Honda when I was a Honda mechanic back in the 70s. Get yourself a can of Rust-Oleum aluminum paint. Okay, you clean both surfaces that you put the gasket between. You open this can of aluminum paint. You do not stir it. You don't shake it. You don't do anything but open the can, and you get yourself a screwdriver or something, and you scrape that thick goo from the bottom of the can. You put that goo on the gasket. You work it in, and you put it on the surface wet. That gasket will not leak. The aluminum will not hurt anything in the engine if you have extra that oozes out. And when you go to take that apart in the future, that will come apart right now. The gasket will not rip. Here's a spare valve cover gasket I always kept around for my Moto Guzzi. You have to adjust the valves pretty often on Moto Guzzis. It only takes 20 minutes each side. You don't even have to remove the gas tank. But the hardest thing about that job is scraping the gasket off if it sticks to the head or to the valve cover. Okay, so I did what I learned from Honda, that bulletin from Honda to all the service departments about putting aluminum paint on a new paper gasket, and it will never stick again, and you'll never have problem taking things apart. You won't have to replace that gasket ever. And I've never had to use this spare gasket because I did one set of gaskets and they lasted me. I kept my last Moto Guzzi my first one I had for 16 years. No, I had it a long time, about 12 or 14 years. This one here, 2007, I had it until 2021, and I never had to buy another gasket. I had to buy a side cover gasket for a Kawasaki KLR 650 to replace the doohickey. People familiar with that bike know what the doohickey is. It's a primary chain tensioner. The gasket alone was $58. It was no bigger. It was not much bigger than this one. I said to the parts man, are you serious? He said, yeah, that's what they cost. It was just a paper gasket. So I said, hold the gasket. If I need it, I'll be back. But anyway, this bulletin from Honda back in the 70s has saved me from ever having to buy a second paper gasket. Just thought I'd pass that on. See you there.